Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll click on the let's suppose query. Okay. Now do this one input. Okay.
Okay.
আসবে না
And compare and check the response and then again. Existing tool. But let me check this one.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, please tell me.
Okay. So yeah. So give me a second.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, shall we start?
Yeah, please tell me.
Okay. So can you just give me your brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm having total 8 years of extensive experience, and out of that, I have worked with front-end technologies like Angular, React, JavaScript, TypeScript a lot. That is my primary skills. I am expertise into that. Additionally, I have worked with backend technologies like Node.js and database like SQL, MySQL, Oracle, sometimes MongoDB, PostgreSQL. Okay, so working as a full stack currently for last 3 years. Additionally, I do have
Okay.
knowledge on DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes, in my current project. So after the website creations from the prototype to the ideation phase to the completion phase, we have created the CI/CD pipelines out of that, maintain the Docker image, and containerization of all those things. Okay, and yeah,
Okay.
so these are my technical skills. Apart from that, I do take technical sessions for the teams, mentoring the juniors. A lot of times bring a lot of new topics and discuss within the forums. So yeah, that's how it is. If you would like to know anything specific, would be happy to share the same.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to know your relevant experience in Angular as well as in the Node.js.
Yeah, so Angular complete 8 years I'm working in Node.js. Last 2.5 years you can say working as a Node.js developer as well along with my Angular development.
Okay, fine. Okay, no problem. So yeah, we will start with the basic of the things, then we'll move to the core technology part, okay, for the Angular and then go to the Node.js side. Okay.
Sure, sure.
So can you just tell me what is a closer?
What is?
Closer.
Oh, closer. Closer. Let me share my screen parallelly to better explain. So closure is nothing but like one variable and its all encapsulated scope, like all its lexical scope. What does it mean? For example, I have a outer functions. Okay, over there I have a variable, and from the inner functions. So even if that variable is not declared over there, if you try to access that, it will first check if I am available within my lexical scope or not. If not, then it will go up into the scope hierarchical chain and it will try to access it. So this way of arranging the bringing the variable into that scope is called closure. Okay. So if you want, I can write an example to better explain you. If you give me 1 minute, can I
So
do?
probably I got fine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No problem. Yeah, okay. Can you tell me what are the pure functions in JavaScript?
Pure functions means there are some functions in JavaScript that maintains three principles like only one return type it should do and there is no it should intend to do only the particular agenda that it should pass. Okay, so and another else I forgot like these three principles, if you maintain any function then it will become a pure function. So one return type will be there. So three principles that they should follow. You want to you are asking me like in JavaScript what are the native pure functions are there?
Yeah, right.
So
In
whatever the
JavaScript.
functions are there in the JavaScript, like all are pure functions. But if you create your own pure functions, then you can
Mm-hmm.
simply, as I mentioned, like these three principles, you need to follow it. Then only it will be a pure functions. Like in other words, I can say that it will not allow you to modify any external store, okay, or any external state change you are
Okay.
not doing out of that. So that will become a pure function. By default, JavaScript is written everything in the pure function way only. But if you
Mm-hmm.
design, then you
Okay.
need to follow these three principles.
Okay. What is the full string in JavaScript?
So it's a concept like everything inside the JavaScript once it gets executed into the V8 engine, Chrome, when it is executed in the Chrome, it is V8 engine. Okay. So thing is that inside JavaScript there is everything is the execution context. Okay. So let's say you are running a code, so it will read one by one line, and that time initially before its execution, JavaScript engine will assign a special value to all the variables and other things. So that is with undefined. Okay. So even if it is there, even if it is declared. Okay. So the moment, so if I try to access something, even if it is not declared, so that time instead of undefined, instead of reference error, we get undefined. To give an example, just one line I'll write down. Like, let's say you are writing down console.log a, you are writing over here. So I have not even defined a, declare, even assigned a. Let's say add a equal to 10 if I try to access. Generally, we should get a reference error, right? So I'm trying to access something which is not even declared, even assigned, right? So, but here we'll get undefined. The reason is, see, well, the reason is, see, undefined we got, right? The reason is, as I mentioned, JavaScript engine will do this kind of task. So this process is called hoisting. Before the actual actual assignment, so this is called hoisting. Okay. Next line, if you do it, it will be a 10. In case of var, it is hoisted. Okay. And in 2015, late and const came, ES5, so ES6. So that time what happened is that in case of late and const, still it is hoisted. Okay. But it is called temporal dead zone. So if we try to access something, let's say if it is late and if we are trying to access something, definitely you will get a reference error. See, even itself it is telling that it's a reference error you are getting. See, reference error you are getting. So it is this up to this much, it is called up to this much, this line, it is called temporal dead zone, but it is hoisted, but we are not supposed to access it. So this is the concept of hoisting.
Okay. Okay, got it. Can you tell me the working of the bind function in JavaScript?
Yeah, call, bind, and apply. These three bind function you are asking, right?
Yeah, bind function,
Bind.
right?
So these three functions are interchangeably used once we talk about changing the context of a functions. For example, generally what we do with the bind is that, let's say we have a function. For example, let me give an example to better explain you. For example, let's have a function simply multiply or something, some function, let's say functions multiply or something, it is doing two number, it is just multiplying, return x star y, and yeah. So now let's say you are trying to assign some other value with it, let's say multiply dot bind, and you are passing null. I don't need any reference into that. And if I pass 2, and let's say I will store it some multiple data or something. Okay. So in that case, if you console log, if you pass this, you will get 10. Okay. Multiplying it with 10, 2, so it will get 10. So yeah, let me get it result. Yeah, so what exactly happening over here is that in this case we bind the multiply function, this multiply function, okay, with null, and we do not we don't need to bind this. Okay, so we just pass 2
Okay.
as an argument to this x. Okay, and we don't want other things. Okay, so the result, this resulting a bound functions, this one, but particularly this one. Okay, and which just requires y argument, this not x argument, for example. Okay, so this is the bind function. Mainly it is used in scenarios where you need to pass a function's reference as a callback or a event handler, while ensuring that this is set correctly. So here the main concept is setting the this variable. Okay, so there only it is used generally.
Okay, so like here you passed null as a base, right?
Yeah.
So what should be? What it could be?
So it could be any other references. This is a simple example, but in real example, let's say we have a person data object. Okay, let's say const person, it is having first name, last name, some full name method is also there, some other functionality is also there. Okay, so entirely that is a object. Okay, and now let's say you are trying to access person dot get full name. Okay, so and if you try to access it in the global scope, you will not get it. Okay, you will get undefined. But if you attach that full name with a person, I mean, for example, full name you have, so you can just do full name dot bind, and you can pass the person. So that time this is becoming the person. Okay, so the person's property will be attached with it, and you can easily get the full name. You can get let full name equal something. Okay, so I could have given
Okay.
that kind of example to better explain you. So I just took a
Yeah, I
simple
got
example.
it. No problem. No
Yeah,
problem. I get. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, and let's say we also have a call method, right? Like
Call,
bind,
yeah.
call,
Call,
type.
bind.
Yep,
Call
yep.
is also the same.
Like.
Only thing is the way we pass the
Mm-hmm.
argument actually. Here in an array
Okay.
list, we pass the like all the arguments. Ultimately, both are doing
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. But the way we
Okay.
pass the thing that is
So
different. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So basically, when I should use bind and when I should use call? What
So
are the
let's
use
say,
cases of
yeah,
it?
let's say you want some reference to be remembered later. Okay, so you
Mm-hmm.
it should not be. I mean JavaScript should remember the reference from. Let's say it's a set timeout call. Okay, so over there you coming out of the set timeout, you will be losing the context. But if you want to remember it later, you want to store it in some function and later you can execute it. You can remember that. So to be more
Okay.
specific, you if you want to invoke a function with a specific this value, okay, like this to
Mm-hmm.
know and pass the arguments individually. Okay, so you can go for the
Mm-hmm.
call. That is the best use case you can say. I mean, you don't want latter part. Okay, you want the function to be immediately invoked. Okay, and get the result and sort it out. That time you have the this value, right? So there you can go for
Okay.
this one. Okay,
Okay.
for,
Okay.
for
Got it.
future reference,
So
later use.
mm-hmm.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you worked on any Angular library? Have you created any custom Angular library?
Library not specifically created, but lot of custom directives that search
Mm-hmm.
specific things. A lot of things created. For an example, in our project, it is a kind of config-driven UI. Like the fields comes from the Salesforce. If you set up
Okay.
lot of config, like let's say you have a form, right? But you don't want to change the UI of that. If you want to add one more field or two more field, drop down, select element or some text area or something, you can just simply go to the Salesforce and there is a config section. You add forms as per you want, and automatically the way our UI application will work is that it will understand that and it will react accordingly and it will bring those things. So we have created a custom directive over here that accepts the entire form array, and depending on the type, so that provides a specific arranged data. So based on the select, it will
Okay.
create a drop down. Like this is one example. Like that, a lot of custom directives we have created. But I know, I
Okay.
mean, how
Okay.
to create libraries as well, like if it is needed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you used the RxJS library?
Yeah, extensively we have used. We are working with asynchronous programming
Okay.
for observables.
Okay.
So even observables is
So
also using RxJS. Yeah.
yeah. So can you please list out some operators that have been you used worked
Yeah,
on
so I
with
use
RxJS?
mainly fork join. Okay, fork join. When multiple API calls I want, but I'm only concerned about the final result of it. Okay, and pipe I have used. Off I have used RxJS operators, right? RxJS operators.
Okay.
And form I have used to create a observable. Okay, map used map switch map switch map I have
Okay.
used. So mainly switch map. Let's say you are subscribing an observable, and again you are trying to consume another observable. You are not worried about the previous observable result. That time we can use switch. Merge we have used. Just few things I can recall right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no problem. Yeah, got it. So let's say we already also have the subject, right?
We have the subject
Subject.
also. Subject behavior
Yeah.
subject. Yeah.
So yeah, I want to know the difference between the subject and the behavior subject.
Correct. So first of all, observables are hot, subjects are cold. We know, right? So then I'm coming to the subject versus behavior subject. So here, once I talk about subject versus behavior subject, is that in case of like any there is two publishers, for example. So in case of subject, what will happen? That it is also a type of observable, but it will allow you to be, I mean, multicast, okay, to multiple subscribers, you can say, okay, in case of subject. So it can act both as a observable also and as a kind of observer also. But in case of it can emit values. Also it
Mm-hmm.
can be used to subscribe it also. Okay, So when a new subscriber subscribes to a subject, it can subscribe also, right? So it will receive further values emitted by the subject. So it won't be any previously, but it won't be receiving. The main point is it won't be receiving any previously emitted values. Okay, so that means let's say you started publishing value now onwards, but you came now, and let's say our interview is going on, someone came joined the call, will he able to listen the previously what discussion we did closer and other by? No, he will listen from this question only. So that is the thing actually in case of subject. But in case of behavior subject, what will happen is it will in case of behavior subject it will I mean it requires the initial value and always it will emit the most recent value to the new subscribers, but it will preserve and replay the last emitted values also to the new subscribers. So that is the main problem, I mean point here to in case of these two things.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's
So
say
let's say
if I
if
want
I
to
want to
achieve the
achieve the
same
same
functionality
functionality
that
that
subject is
subject is
giving to
giving to
me
me
without
without
using the
using the
subjects.
subjects.
Without
Okay.
will
Like
repeat your question
without
once again,
using
Without
please.
using
it,
it, I do,
I
yeah,
don't
I
want
don't
to
want
use
to use
subject there,
subject there,
but I
but I
want to
want to
get
get
whatever the
whatever the
value
value
have been
have been
emitted
emitted
by the
by the
observer.
observer.
Okay.
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 Let us
Let us
run.
run.
Let's say
Let's
I
say
have a
I have a
component A,
component A,
component B,
component B,
and there is
and
a
there
one
is one
service.
service.
Okay.
Okay.
So on a
So on a
service,
service,
whenever I am
whenever I am
emitting any
emitting any
value
value
on that
on that
particular
particular
observable, I
observable,
want
I
to
want to
listen the
listen the
updated
updated
value in
value
both
in
of the
both of the
components.
components.
Right.
Right.
The same
The same
behavior we
behavior we
achieve through
achieve
the
through the
subject side.
subject side.
Subject is
Okay.
there, right? We can achieve that.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's
So
say if
let's
I
say if
don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
use the
use the
subject, then
subject, then
what is
what
the
is the
other
other
way
way
of
of
doing that?
doing that?
Yeah, so yeah, that so you are here mainly talking about the data communication part actually. So there are multiple ways, like subject behavior subject is one way. I mean we can use it, but that scenario that you mentioned, like both the places we want to achieve the data communication. So over here we can either use replace subject or we can directly go to the state management like store, Akita store or something. We can use. There will have reducers. I mean, I'll dispatch an
Okay.
action, then I'll have a reducer.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Got
yeah,
it.
got.
So
So
have you
have
worked
you
on
worked
any
on any
stores?
stores?
Yeah,
Any
store
any store?
extensively I have used. So let me share the concept over here. So, like once I talk about store, so store is what? Store is nothing but a single state of the entire application. Okay. So that means in my application, let's say there are like in our application, if I talk about there are like 15 modules in one project like that there are 5 projects are there, okay, and they all are deployed like separately built and deployed, okay, inside monorepo, and we are using Angular module federation concept, okay, to creating a sale applications and creating some host applications and consume each and other things like micro frontend I'm talking about. So anyways, coming back to the question, so thing over is that we have a store that will have its all like data sync with that, and let's say you have your components in the UI level. This is your component. So component will call this action, okay, so any one action it will call, so that will internally call a will reducer. This is the architecture, okay, so this reducer will go and connect to the store and update the state, okay, and then once it will be updated, then it will notify the selector that hey, I am updated. So then selector will come and again notify that. Even it can also talk to effects as well. It will also talk to effects as well, okay, and that can also talk to different services, and even if needed they will talk to DB or some other APIs, okay. So this is how it works actually.
Okay, I
Okay, I
got it.
got it.
Uh, I'll do
I'll do
one
one
thing.
thing.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
give me a
give me a
second.
second.
So I have
So I
typed
have
one
typed one
string in the
string in the
chat.
chat.
You have typed something in the chat.
Yeah.
Chat. let
Yeah.
S equal
So
to
there are, yeah, let A, B, C,
AA,
C, D.
BB,
I,
CC,
yeah,
DDD, EEE. Okay, I have a string like that:
yeah,
A, BB, CC, DDD,
yes,
EEE.
right. You need to find the consecutive pair, like same matching pairs from that particular string.
Consecutive pairs. Okay,
Yeah,
that means AA is a consecutive pair. So A should
yeah.
be in the
B is a
output.
consecutive pair. Yeah, yeah,
B is
B.
an output. C is an output. All are consecutive pair, right? Here.
Yeah. So you can modify it for your use case. You can add up something else also.
Okay. So if I have an F, for example, so F is not a consecutive pair, for example,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Okay. Got it.
You
Got
can
it.
use
Very
the
good.
base table there.
Am I sharing my screen or not? Sharing, right?
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah, it is visible.
So I have a string that is let S equal to AA, BB, CC, DDD, EE. What I need to do is I need to find the consecutive pair and print it over here, right? Okay, so I can take it in an array and simply I can print it. So I can use uh, any methods, consecutive pair, pair. What I can do is that I can have that and check it as what match. What I can match? I can match in the entire string if I have that or not, and more than one I have it, so I can pick it up and then console log of what's into that. I'm getting null. Wait a minute. So what I'm doing, let pairs equal to dot match. What I'm trying to check the entire string. I'm checking. Okay, I forgot to do this one, more than one if I get globally. Then I should bring all the output. Yeah, got it. So see, I have used a regular expressions over here. So this expression I have used. So this is used to match the consecutive characters. Okay, and use this match method. Okay, this is called on top of this string s. Okay, and uh, and we are getting the whatever the results we are getting, that is stored in this array, and that is getting printed. Now, for an example, if I give f or g, that is not a consecutive pair, you see, that is not getting printed. Okay, hello.
Yeah. Okay. So you did the,
I use
okay, okay.
matchers
I
and
did it.
regex. Okay, so this match
Yeah, you.
functions will evaluate these regex, and in external it will output that.
Okay, got it, got it. So yeah, also, you have previously written the bind function, right?
Pipe.
Bind function. You have written the
Yeah,
bind
yeah,
function.
yeah. Sometimes we discussed
Yeah.
about bind.
So let's see if I want to build a my bind function
My bind function.
with the
Okay.
same functionality. Yeah,
Acha,
with the
this
same function.
you want this to be implemented using bind.
No, 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 no. What I'm saying, the bind function is doing for me, right? It is giving me a function written in a function binding with this variable. I want the same functionality on a my bind function.
Okay.
So I want you to write a custom logic of the bind function inside the my bind function.
Got it, got it. So
Okay,
if I
that
reframe
is
the
my
questions,
question.
yeah, so if I reframe the
Yeah,
questions, whatever the task bind function is doing in today's date in JavaScript, if I
yeah,
want to achieve the same thing using another custom function, what shall I write,
yeah,
right?
yeah, right,
Okay,
right, right. Yeah.
got it. So bind function is doing a task in JavaScript. Same thing I want to achieve using a custom function. Okay, let me comment out this one. So yes, I'm just pasting it in the chat. So, yes. this bind function bind okay bind is called active bind is there. So in that case, what should I do? I mean, I'll be getting a functions, and again I'll be calling that function entirely that you want to achieve that kind of concept, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it will again return a function that will have the context stored inside that, correct?
yeah, right. So whatever the functionality that I have on a bind right now,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
want to
trying
change
to
on the
construct something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Function our bind new. So it will also receive a function, and it will have its own context. We need to pass the context as well, and all the arguments array list that I am receiving, that we can receive. Okay. So now it will definitely return another function that will be stored for the further execution. Okay. And let's give some name to this inner arguments. Okay. And this will return, if I do it, return, what can I do this function? Return, it will return, return this function. This will return what? I need to return a function, and this will return some function name that will going to create to apply. Apply going to pass the context, and also all the array list, and the inner function as well. Something this sort of things I need to do most probably. And yeah, so this should be the function. So try to create a function. Let's see if we can achieve that using some object. Okay. Person, I'm just giving some demo, some dummy field into it. And name, let's say my name, and date, let's say function. I'll have some message, and that is just console login, and the message plus register name, let's say. Okay, so this is one just simple object that I have created. Now let's say future execution, I am trying to just test it. Bound with things with our function name is, let's say, our bind new dot. Now I'll pass three things over here, and this is the this actually person dot git. I'm passing this, and I have to pass the context also, and all the things. Let's some hi hello. For now, if I call this bound grid, so it should output me hello Arghya. Correct. So here see, we whatever we tried to achieve is that in this example we have an object person, so that is having a simple key value pair name and one function hello. Okay, and now we use our this custom bind, our bind new, okay, to bind the person dot grid, okay, this person dot grid to the person object, okay, with the initial argument what hello. This is the initial argument, and the result, this is resulting this function, this bound grid function, so it is stored in this function bound grid, and then it is invoked again, like at this line number 16 it is invoked again, and it is console logging hello and my name here, correct? So by
Okay.
this way we can
Got
also
it.
achieve the similar kind of task, whatever the JavaScript
Mhm.
handles.
Yeah, okay. So there is one problem, currently you're calling the our binding manually, right? But if you know that bind is available on all the functions that we define, right?
Did not get your questions. Repeat it once again. What is the
Yeah.
problem?
So basically, what I'm saying, whenever you call a bind function, right, it is available on every functions in a JavaScript by default, correct?
Okay.
So if I want to bind the new function, that custom function that you have built, that should available on every function that has been declared or that has been later be defined. Okay.
Okay, then you need to
So
attach
like
it in
how
the
it is
prototype.
that.
You need to attach this inside
Sorry.
the prototype. You need to attach this
Okay.
inside the prototype. See, that is
Mhm.
constructed by JavaScript. That's why on every level it is defined by them. But this is just for the demonstration
Okay.
purpose we have added to show the functionality is same
Mhm.
only. But if we want to make it available across all the functions, then we need to attach it in
Mhm.
the prototype level. Underscore underscore proto we use,
Okay.
right? So then it will become available. You want me to write that code?
No, no, that's fine. Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
know the concept.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me, how we can improve the performance of the front-end application? Let's say if we talk about the Angular. So,
There are
how many ways we can improve the
there are
performance?
thousand ways we have done in our applications. Like you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, it is visible right
So
now.
I'll say the commonly used what we did in our application extensively. That is, so we focused a lot about optimizations. Okay. So once I talk
Okay.
about optimization, so that time, like once I talk about optimization, so first thing is image optimizations. One is image optimizations, one is video optimizations. So see, the main agenda over here is to reduce the load time so that our application loads very fast. So initially you can go to the console and see the performance tool lighthouse and see the how much percentage it is giving, 70, 60, 80, depends, like every project like that. Now we need to execute one by one things, like what all things we did. One is image optimizations, like let's say one image that is a kind of 3 dpr. That means uh, if one image I am seeing in my laptop, and let's say you have a big TV, so that will be only stressed and it will try to, I mean, create a performance issue. Rather than that, we can create uh, two different versions of the image, and depending on your DPR you can make a call, like what DPR you have initially. Depending on that we can make a call and provide the another image. Okay, that will help us to reduce that image things. Second thing is a sprite image. A lot of Facebook icons, Instagram icons, this kind of lot of icons are there every project. So if you load every project one by one, so let's say it's a 2 KB call. So another 2 KB call is
Okay.
there. Okay, like that it's the 20 files you have. So it is taking 80 KB. So instead of doing that, if you use a sprite image, so it's just referencing which XY coordinate you are pointing. So based on that, you
Okay.
can simply write the code and do that. Okay. We prefer HTML. I mean, don't use GIF tag. It's and rather use video tags. Okay, to do that video optimizations. And coming back to the memory part, also JavaScript optimizations. Once I talk about, so there we have extensively used a lot of arrays, a lot of memory leakage are also happening instead of set timeout, time intervals, a lot of things we are using, right? But we need to clear those things also. If we don't do that, in the front we cannot see, but behind the scene one call stack is getting created, heap memory is getting increased, and it will ultimately make the system slow down, even it will crash as well if you have not properly maintained. Observable, so we are talking about observable, lot of observables we are calling, but if you are not, once you are not I mean in the on destroy, if you are not removing those things, I mean intentionally, if you forgot to unsubscribe those things, okay, on destroy method, then it is keep on, I mean, listening to that, so it is creating a memory issues into that. Fonts, okay, there are two ways you can, I mean, display the font. Even font optimization also we have done it. There are two ways, like one is
Okay.
on the fast display you want not, let's say you have a color, I mean design font, okay, like this way it's writing the colorful font, okay. So generally there is two way we can do that. One is fast load, you just load the basic font, then apply the style into it, or you load everything in one go. Similarly, CSS loading also. CSS loading, you want the critical CSS first. Don't load everything. Whatever the critical CSS are there, do that. There are even JavaScript also, defer and async. There is two attribute Boolean attributes came. Like use judiciously, like all the scripts that we are writing over in at the top of the page. What happens? Like you see, our page is getting painted. So at that time, if you encounter one script, our page painting will be halted, right? So it will fetch the script, then it will execute the script, then it will paint the remaining page. So time goes, users are waiting here. So if it is not having any
Okay.
dependencies, you can use defer. It will be asynchronously paced, but after painting is done, then it will be executed. So if you know don't have any issue, go for that. So similar kind of
Okay.
lot of things we can use.
Mhm. Okay. So, do you know the concept of the lazy loading? Have you used that one?
Yeah.
No.
Extensively, we have used lazy loading. So concept over is that on demand load some module. Let's say you have five. Let's say I'm talking about a single project that is having 15 modules, for example. Uh, let's talk about Swiggy application, for example. Inside Swiggy, we have a Instamart as well. So grocery as well. Okay. So in this case, do that Swiggy don't need in initial load everything to be available, but user rarely comes. Yeah, user comes grocery item modules also, but once user clicks on it, then load it, so that our initial bundle size, once we do the build, so like for deploying the application we build, right, that time all the components and other things comes under one file, main.ts, some polyfills are there. So I don't want main.ts to be extra loaded, so that our bundle list size is less and page gets loaded fast. So here the lazy loading concept is that don't load everything, load whatever the initial thing like shared component, your basic UI building blocks, whatever the users are working on it. So in the to configure that in the routing sections we use
Okay, I got
lazy
it.
load, okay,
So,
and load
yeah.
GUI. We'll do
One
that.
more thing. Am I audible?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah. So, I'm asking about what are the middlewares in a Node.js?
Middleware in a Node.js. So
Yeah.
middleware means, let's say we are body parsers we are using, right? Let's say we are using Express to get the data from the front end and then process it and send it back. Okay. So once that is the middleware. Like whenever you are receiving something from the Node.js, okay, and you are doing some operations onto that, so that is the middleware.
Okay. Okay. So, let's say you want to implement the authorization in Angular. Sorry,
Yeah.
in the Node.js side. So, like, what is the process you will follow for that one?
So I will have in our projects I have a secret file, okay, so that is used to encrypt and again decrypt, okay, secret hash you can say. So you from the user end, user ID and password will come, even password will be coming in a some encrypted way. So again on top of that encrypted password I will perform this hashing, so that randomly generated passwords is getting created. Those things will be stored into the database, okay, and in return I'll pass two things. One is refresh token, another is token, okay. So this token will be used to secure the all the APIs that I have. So even I can pass it to the UI guy, and UI guy Angular end, they will write an interceptor, and every request header they'll add it, so that every time it comes with the token. And if there is no activity or user activity or something, then it depends on the requirement. I can like log out automatically in 5 minutes of inactivity, or I can even log out at 8 hours,
Okay.
or some the time. If that is needed, I can pass the timers also, some milliseconds after that it will logged out automatically, okay. Then the once the request will come, so I need to verify that, see, one token is correct, then I need to verify that again, let's say user is logging in or something, they are trying to access it. So I have the same code, right, hash code. So using that bcrypt, I can again, I mean, get the password checked, whatever they have typed it, and with the database, whatever it is stored, and again pass it. So in case of refresh token, I will again generate a re token out of that and again pass it. So this is the way the authorization connections is established. So I was talking about
Okay.
JWT authentications over authentications over here, and
Mhm.
authorizations of the
Okay.
users as well. We can use other
Yeah.
authorizations also, like SAML and other things as well. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, on the front end side, we have a table with the padding machine. Okay.
Okay. Table.
So I have one table, but there is a padding machine on the bottom. You
There is
can
a
reach the
pagination.
last machine, right? Okay. But I want to like I don't want a padding machine here. I want whenever I will be scroll, then I will load the next set of data. So how we can
So
solve
that
this
is server
problem?
side, nothing but called server side paginations. Like let's say initial load, we give you 10 data. I'm the backend, you are the front end, for example, and you just clicked two, three like that. Or it is written okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You click 7, so automatically the request that you will be passing 7 to 8. Okay, start and then next. So automatically that sort of data will come over here. So only that 10 data or whatever the page size also you need to send. Page size, let's
Yeah.
say
So
default.
okay, on the front end side, like yeah, on the front end side, how we will know that now we have to call the API.
Now I have to.
Call the API, right? You are saying that we will build a padding machine on the server side, right? So for
Yeah.
that one, I have to call the API again, right? So like how on the front end side you will detect that now we have to call the API to get the next data set.
Like let's say initial page load you bring 10 data. Okay, so 10 data, 10 row will be shown into the table, and I believe in the
Yeah.
pagination also 1 2 3 dot 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 dot, there is 10 data, let's say up to 10.
Yeah, right.
Already they are in the
Got
front
it.
end like this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now you staying in this front end, you click 3. So once you click 3, I have the access of 3, right? So I'll pass 3 to 4. Initial page size is 3, and next page up to 4. And default page size is 10 is already set up in the payload, let's say. You can have a drop down over here, how many data you want. You can select that also, 10, 15, or 20, whatever it is. And then if you pass these three things to the backend team, so they will query the data on this ground, right? They will write the logics like you one page is 10 records, so then up to 330 records are gone. I am looking for 30 to 40, this many rows only. So they'll write down the query over the select start from table name where that data index whatever against something we are getting, right? So that many to that many they will bring and they'll give it back to you. So you go to that third page and automatically that many data will be shown into this page.
Okay, okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any question for us?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for your time and this interview. I really liked it. And I mean, if you just share, I mean, a few highlights about the projects that what we do in our day-to-day life, that will be really appreciated.
Yeah, so basically, if I talk about the tech stack that the project you're going to work on, so that will have the Angular, Node.js on the backend side, front-end side will be the Angular part. So mostly it is on that one, and it is something related to the data migration application. So by you have to migrate the data like that, right? So yeah, this is the project profile.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Anything else, Sadi?
Yeah, it's kind of like one more thing. Like I'm not asking about the interview feedback, but in this last 30 minutes, if you share your insights and like what all things I'm good at, what all things I need to work on it. Not the interview feedback selected, rejected. That's a part of the process. But if you genuinely share the feedback, that will be helping me to grow individually. That's something amazing.
Okay, so yeah, if I go to the most of the part, JS is also good, Angular is also good. Some part of the node side as well as on the coding side can be improved. So that's what we can find.
Which coding side I
Okay.
have missed out? If you just specifically tell me, like then I can improve that part. Like I did three codings. Like one is bind function,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
next
So
one.
yeah. So bind one like we add up the result by after the iterations, right? So that's one part.
Okay.
And yeah, yeah. So that's all with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Have a great day to
Yeah.
you. And what is the next step in this interview process? If you just tell me.
So yeah, that there will be Alto round, there will be level two, and that will also be the technical round.
Okay.
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 Then there will be a call with the hiring manager.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the overall process right now.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay, thanks for your time. Yeah, thanks, guys. Nice talk to you. Okay, bye bye.
বলতে চলে এলেই হয়ে গেল নাকি এটা ফিডব্যাক দিতে